Greetings, greetings, greetings. They are now tuned into the vault. Trust Christian own nothing, control everything. Just want to thank you for tuning in live, listening to replay. Always appreciate everybody that tunes in live, listens in the replay. Always appreciate it. This is the vault, episode 426. How to learn how to trade. You can feel free to reach out for Trustee Training. Christian at trustchristian.com. Once again, that's Christian at trustchristian.com. Learn how to trade. This is a in-demand episode. It sounds like maybe people have hit a hard rock in a whatever place. Maybe they didn't hit it and they got options. You know, when you're up, you usually have opportunities to explore new things and opportunities when you are in an advantage position. So, sure, people may be in an advantage position right now. We'll hear that out in this particular episode. But I just want to thank you once again. This is the Vault episode 426. Learn how to trade. This is maybe more of a command than it is have a question on how to actually learn how to trade. We want to talk about it from so many different angles. We want to remember our points because even in this episode, ladies and gentlemen, you got to learn how to trade. It's a skill. But everybody wants to learn how to trade, let it be on the street, let it be in the media. Everybody wants to learn this skill. It's a skill. It's like learning how to cut hair. So we want to go ahead and set the table for everybody that says, I want to learn how to trade. If you want to learn how to trade, you are entering in one of the most competitive environments. It's called money management. Sure, people may go to school for money management. They may go work for a big firm in money management. But nevertheless, you're entering an environment where people are betting that someone is going to have some money based off of them. These are your investment managers. They're managing people's retirements. They're managing people's livelihoods, passive assets, things of that nature. But people want to learn how to trade. Why would you want to learn how to trade when you're entering an environment where somebody says, I can manage your retirement better than you can? That's what this environment is. You have to ask yourself, well, why would someone give their money to you as opposed to giving it to somebody else? That's what traders do. They make money. They're money managers. And they're not losers. So even though the stock market right now might be moving whatever way it's moving, the professionals, they're called pros because they're making money consistently. And they're making more money than they're losing. How to learn to trade? You got to get educated. Oh man, I want to learn how to trade. This might be my weekend hobby. Yeah, right. We'll say it again. It's one of the most competitive environments on the planet because there are people that think that they can manage your money better than you can, better than most people can. They are professional money managers. It's not to be overemphasized because these are just it's interesting to see this because these are people that have learned the skill to trade. They know about the algorithms. They can have those conversations with you. We've been in this era of algorithms dang near since the computer's been out. And you got these day traders, you got these people that want to hop in a trading, and the first thing they run to is a damn bot. Oh man, this company, they said they had a bot that I could use. And the bot, if I use the bot, I'll be able to make $5,000. All these different numbers that they got out here nowadays. That's what they're saying. And we're just going to set the record straight. If you think you're going to come in and move with a bot, you're fooling yourself. First of all, you are on an island when you start trading. How do you learn how to trade? Some people, oh, I want to get in a group. I'm gonna wake up early and get up for the London session. Right. I'm gonna get up for the Asian session. I'm gonna get up for the beginning of the American session. That's what they gonna tell y'all to do. That's what you gonna do. You gonna get up at 5 a.m. Eastern time? Oh no. Well, I'll do whatever it takes. Some people say this is a weekend hobby. You think you gonna pick up consistent money on a weekend hobby? Yeah, it's sort of like me learning how to cook, right? This is not cooking. This is competing in a financial, which it's a financial market. This isn't cooking. It's not something you read in a cookbook either. Oh, I'm gonna get it out of a book. I'll go read this book. I'm gonna learn how to trade. If I read a book, that's how I'm gonna learn it. That's not how you learn it. How? Here we go. Learning how to trade is learning how to become emotionless. Why? You're competing against a computer, an algorithm that's emotionless. That's where they got the first day traders out the window. In the past, they didn't have the algorithms pre-computer. They didn't have the algorithms in the way they have them now. So you're competing against a computer that trades every day. You got a computer that's trading intraday. That means it might leave trades on for 2 or 3 days. It's a computer. Do you have the courage to stay in the trade for 2 to 3 days? They have a computer that is. They've built a computer. Pretty much, computers have built. They've built these algorithms to handle all trades, short and long. They do really well in the short term. Why? Because they have day traders, people that want to come in and call this a weekend hobby. It's not a weekend hobby. No weekend hobbies here, ladies and gentlemen. Oh man, I put it down, but I didn't master it yet. Right, you didn't master it because you didn't keep at it. You put it down. It's not a hobby. It's just like, is it going to be a lucrative endeavor or is it going to be something that's going to give you some bubblegum money? If it's going to be a lucrative endeavor, it requires to learn it. It's a study. Not, oh man, I'm going to get in this group. We're going to give each other trades. The mentors shunned us from copy trading. They shunned us from it because you're not learning the skill of being emotionless when it comes to money. How many people have emotions tied to money? Learning to trade is learning how to become emotionless for periods of time, concentrating. It is very real. People come to us, not necessarily us all the time, but even the ones that have came to us and stories we've heard, people at times say that they get a little emotional about the money. And for that reason, that can cut off or thwart success. Of course it can, because people get emotional, whether it's to a loss, to a risk, or even to an upside when they get excited about making tons of money. We've had to learn that one where you when you make a lot of money, sometimes people get excited. Then and they may make a bad decision. They might skip over the process. They might think that they're different. Well, what happens when you learn to trade and it's the same thing every day? Just like cutting hair. It's the same thing every day. And day in, day out. Mentors told us you gotta be willing to learn something new every day. So every time we pick something new up, we always excited. When something come across our table that we haven't learned, we're excited. We're okay and comfortable. Oh, I didn't know that. Great, now I know that. Or oh man, I always gotta be in the mode of learning something. Why? Because it's trading. You're going against the computer. You're going against the algorithm on a day trade. You think you're not going against a computer? The money managers put the computers there. The big whales, they got computers there trading intraday. You don't see Warren Buffett saying he's trading intraday. Right. So he's not competing against them. He understands his market. He's not competing against short trades and the algorithms. Even though he is, he's competing against long only pension funds. He wants to tell you we have the best fund in the world. You get in here, the company might be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, one stock. Let's go look up right now how much a Berkshire Hathaway stock is. We're not promoting this company, we're just talking about it. They got two stocks. They got a stock A and a stock B. So the stock A is $420,499.90. So 420,499. That's where this company is at. Class A. Let's see where the B is. They have two, if you didn't know. $278. We're not the market. We're quoting what the market has provided based off after hours. But Berkshire B at this current moment is 278 on the market, the public market. So when you look at these things and you say, "Oh man, they got two. They got two different stocks for a reason." You're competing against these companies. Are you willing to read financial information? And this is the one key separator that we can tell y'all right now. Everybody that's listening, everybody that wants to learn how to trade, everybody that everybody wants to, I want no do the trading. I'm trying to do the trading. Everybody says they want to do the trading. We gotten a preponderance of emails about this recently, and we sent them over to the classes. They get in the classes. Guess what, ladies and gentlemen, the teachers of these classes, some of them that are actually on a good platform, they can see who goes through the class on their own. Because people think they're gonna learn trading on their own. I'm gonna learn it on my own. I got it. I'm gonna figure it out. Right. What happens when you gotta go learn it on your own? Do you go through the classes? Are you dedicated every day? Are you trying to supersize the information into your mind? Do you have a learning curve deadline saying, okay, by this period of time, I should have I got to be done with this class. I got to be done with this education. What is that? To become profitable. That was the beginning learning curve. We could talk about the competency hierarchy. Let's talk about the competency hierarchy. Competency hierarchy. We'll go ahead and break this down for the people that want to learn the trading. So, you want to learn the trading. There's a pyramid. It's called the competency hierarchy. It's pretty much for everything in life. This is a learning. This is the Vault's management consulting tool that we know is implemented in every particular professional environment or any environment of any status. They have a competency hierarchy because there are people that know that they know, and then there are people that don't know things. Well, somebody's got to get trained. Right. This is how they get trained. First, there's unconscious incompetence. It's unconscious incompetence. You don't know that the trading is, something that you can make $1 million a year sitting in your house, with a nice chair and really, studying and actually sitting in your house or on the beach somewhere if you got good internet connection and actually making millions of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars, but millions of dollars more important because this is the environment where managers are getting paid in down markets. They get bonuses in the down market. You all can go online and look up the interviews that the government did with the bank CEOs and chief officers and said, well, do you think you deserve the bonus of X, Y, and Z money? And what did they say? That wasn't my decision. That was the company's and the board decision. Because what? They own nothing, control, trust Christian, own nothing, control everything. That's why. Competency hierarchy. Unconscious incompetence means you don't even have an intuition because you don't know what to have an intuition towards. A sixth sense, a nuance of the field. You don't know what you don't know. That's this phase. You don't know what you don't know. Unconscious incompetence. Then we get a little bit of instruction. Oh man, this trading thing looks like I could make a ton of money at this. And all I gotta do is learn the skill. Right. You gotta learn it. It ain't overemphasized. And once again, the mentor said you gotta be willing to learn something new every day. So it's an exciting thing because you're never surprised at this point. You're just like, oh, let me make sure I take that down as a note so you can be prepared for the next time. Why? Because what's the next time? Conscious competence. This is where you know how to correct a mistake. This is where you learn healthy habits. You're implementing healthy habits. You're diligent to the process. You're actually getting consistent returns. Right. You hear that? You went from, oh, I don't know the skill to now, because I learned the skill, I'm making money consistently. Right. Conscious competence. This is where you can look at things, you can analyze things properly. This is almost where you know you know. This is definitely one of those stages. You know, okay, this right here is my meal ticket. Why? Because it's not nothing to be played with. Conscious competence. And the last part at the top, it's only for it's unconscious competence. This is where now that you've gotten the skill, you're able to live off the skill because it's a skill called money asset manager. Now you get ideas coming to you unconsciously. Good ideas. You follow your intuition. You make it's not a bet then. It's not a it's not a gamble. It's something we always ask one of the mentors. Say, what makes trading not a gamble? Well, what makes it not a gamble is that what? You actually have the right information. You have the right information to make the right decisions at the right time, which you've done consistently and exuded that you have independently been able to grasp this information. Everybody doesn't grasp it. If that was the case, it'd be a 99% ratio of people making money through the stock market. And it's not. This isn't rocket science. But it's not 99% of the people are doing it either. It ain't 80%. It's not 40%. It's not 30%. It's a real low percentage. For what reason? Because this is a bell curve in all actuality, and it does have a fat tail towards the unconscious incompetence and conscious incompetence. Here we go. How many people know that they know? That's when you make the right decisions consistently and you win. It's not a maybe. You know that you know. You're confident and calm in the decision making that you're making towards what you're doing. And when you're at unconscious competence, ideas come to you. Whereas you used to have to put in more hours, now you don't have to put in more hours. Why? Because you've instilled a process into your life that allows you to make decisions that used to take 20 minutes, used to take 3 hours, used to take 6 hours, maybe take 10 hours. Now they're taking less than an hour. It's taking less than an hour to make that decision. That decision, you might make that decision and you might look at information, you might read faster. You might be able to decipher information faster because you know what you're looking for. You're looking for the yeses. You're looking for the reason to say yes to do something. You're looking for the reason to say no to do so, to no not to do something. These are the things that the benefits of learning to trade do. This is how. See people in the chat, feel free to reach out. Let us know where you tune in live, listen, replay from, and as well where what any questions you all have related to the topic of how to learn to trade. Because this is one of those topics, it sounds good in the public to say, oh, I want to learn to trade. But when it comes down to it, This is an actual job. It's a business. It's not a hobby because it's not. You first of all, you're already playing with money, so you gotta remember if you're only into one endeavor, it's to win. If you're in an endeavor that you're winning and losing, and you're breaking even, does that mean you learned anything? Because if you learn something, you're gonna do better, right? When you know better, you do better, right? And there are people that are not losing. That just because they have loss show up on the balance sheet doesn't mean that they're down. The balance sheet is up. It's more cash in than cash out. Sure, there's cash out. Just like every business has expenses. Losses are expenses. You have to pay to play. But oh no, no, this is too complicated for everybody. Yeah, right. It's not. But when you're going against a computer, you got to know what you're doing. Not sit here and use other people's computers. And hey, if you're going to use them, we're not talking down about people that use those things. Have at it. Do what you do. Do we use them at the vault? No. And is it necessary? No. Is it okay? Look, the big banks have them, so obviously they come in handy for a specific reason. But they're to gobble up little fish's money. You know, they've diversified the markets where they try to say, "Oh, it's more retail money in the market than it's ever been." Yeah, and retail markets money's been getting wiped out. Where are they at? The market's not back at all-time highs. So it's no, oh, they're on a Terry. It's not on a Terry or nothing. They're not breaking even. What's going on is always going to go on. It's cyclical rotation. And if you're trading intraday, you're going to be gobbled up into intraday trading. Why? Oh, this is up, this is down, this is up, this is down. Well, are you looking for the daily moves? Are you looking for the weekly moves? Are you looking for the, what is that other stuff? The monthly moves? Oh man, I didn't know I could trade over a period of time. Right? Did they tell you that in the trading classes that you take online? Oh man, I just thought, I had to get on here and I had to be I have to know how to get in on these penny stocks. The penny stocks, oh, the penny stocks are going to say you. First of all, where are the penny stocks at? They look like the Bitcoin right now. They're in the toilet. That's where they're at. That's just the way it is because it's sector rotation going on. And when you're in penny stocks, you might be in emerging markets. Well, when markets were shut down and now they have an issue still internationally, especially in emerging markets because of shutdowns and different things. If you're not studying world news, how would you know? Oh, I got a tip. You taking tips? And then think about it. If you take a tip, whatever they call it, stuff on the internet, tips, getting tips, whatever. A trade. Somebody gives you a trade. It's called copy trade. Did you go through and flush that idea through your process of flushing it out, or did you just accept someone? Oh, this guy, he seems smarter. Oh, this person seems like they've been doing it for a while. Oh, they showed me all this BS over the internet. How could you trust anybody through the internet with something like this? That's like saying you could trust the guys that worked for the banks. Of course you can't. You got to sit there with a discerning eye and say, okay, I got to learn this, which is possible, but I got to learn it for myself. And I got to be confident in the decisions that I'm going to have to make because there are a lot of people that are going to tell me a lot of different pieces of information. But I have to be able to have an internal, which is conscious competency. That's the third step. That's where you say, okay, I know that I can make money with this, but the way that I'm going to make money with this is by me having a process in place of procedures that I do almost every time. So we'll say this much. One of the mentors, they try to liken it to the what is that? The when you do a science experiment, the scientific method. So you got a hypothesis, you got an idea that you hey, let's see what's gonna go on with this. In science, you got a hypothesis, and once you have your hypothesis, then you go through and you do the experiment. So that means that you practice risk management tools on the front end. That means you actually count your downside in the beginning. That's called the you have the hypothesis, and then we're gonna find ways that okay, if we put up this, we need to know what's our max loss from the beginning. That's what the mentors tell us. First, risk. What's our risk first? Okay, so we got our risk. Now we can count, oh, our upside. What's our upside going to be? And that's something you do, once again, as a scientific method procedure of, hey, I need to find out, well, okay, what could be my max gain? Is my gain limited, or is my gain maxed out, like my downside? Do you want to max your downside out? Do you want to cap your downside? All right, so these are the things you do. You're sitting there playing with numbers then at that point. That means you're reading. You're doing analytical skills. This isn't for lazy people. Oh man, I'm gonna put it down. You gotta this for the culture that says, "Oh, our culture says we're not good at math." You're in the toilet. Why? Because this is all math. Sure, you're gonna read some stories. Everybody's gonna tell you our company's going to the moon. But then what happens when you gotta do the quantitative side? You gotta look at quantitative numbers. You gotta be able to calculate things with a calculator. Do what you gonna just think you're gonna do it through your phone? Have at it. Professionals aren't using their cell phone to calculate upside and downside. You might want to hear that. People might want to hear the easy route out, but there's no easy route out. You got to have a calculator on your desk when you're doing quantitative number analyzing. Okay, dang. So that's part of how much it's going to cost to get into trade. You got to have a good calculator. One, right? So you can do quantitative analytics. Oh man, I'm not trying to do all this, man. I thought trading was getting on and pressing a button and it's gonna go up or down and I'm gonna see it and I'm gonna watch it for about 5 to 10 minutes and maybe make about $20 to $200. Somebody said I could do that if I learned it. Right? That's what they told you. What they told you could make $1,000. Remember the first time we ran into Cornell the trader and this brother this is a country brother too. Country brother says, "Oh man, I'll make about $2,000 to $3,000, if I won a day." I'm like, what? Two or three? God, what they teaching y'all that in the country? They was in a group. They learned it. Out of 1,000 people, maybe 10 people learn how to do it. Wow. Oh man, is the odds against you? Did you get your number? You gonna get your math skills together now? And when you hear somebody tell you, "Oh man, out of 1,000 people, guess what? Maybe 10 of us had it. Maybe no more than 20." Woo, woo. The numbers might be against me, Trust Christian in the vault. Do I have rules? Do I still have a opportunity? It's in front of you. Okay. Didn't release him for a while to the audience because we knew what it took. He told us the stories. You gotta stay dedicated. When somebody tell you they willing to sleep in their car and willing to work 22 hours, and just work a lot and study to gain their financial freedom, now you see why they're able to do that and still living that way to this day. Plus, whereas when you hear the stories of people making 30, 50. What you mean? Y'all think we haven't seen Bitcoin millionaires and they ain't Bitcoin millionaires no more. That's the facts. We done seen the ones that they had plants, like an actual manufacturing plant for energy efficiency for these devices. This Bitcoin stuff with this internet crypto stuff was serious. They were supposedly making tons of money, right? And they had manufacturing plants to help to do these calculations, right? Oh man, what? These people weren't getting out the bed if you weren't giving them six figures. You hear? Getting out the bed that day for you, unless you were offering them six-figure plus. And it was really more than that for some of these guys, because they were multimillionaires off the trade, not the trading, but off the Bitcoin stuff. Yeah, they're not there no more. That's the circle that was around them. It failed. Maybe the ringleader, if they had a good scheme, a Ponzi, then they might have still be making it. But still to this day, y'all see where the numbers are at? The numbers got chopped in half from their highs. That's just the facts. Okay. So since we know that, oh man, the market's gonna go back up. You don't know what the hell you talking about. The market gonna go back up. Right. That's the long mentality. Long only mentality. You talking about trading. That means moving intraday on a daily. Oh, I'm gonna do the daily trading. Right. That means you're doing intraday trading. You're doing a couple minutes or hours, seconds, whatever, to a day, to possibly more than one day, to 5 days. Okay. You gotta learn how to do that. That's quick. That's not sitting there and waiting over a period of time. Right. That's not that. You got to be okay with that. You got to be comfortable with that. That requires no emotions. So it's just like walking. You're not emotional about walking. You can't be emotional about that. It's a trade. It sits there for a week. Might sit there for two. You're monitoring it. Of course you're monitoring it. You're monitoring it. You're a manager. Oh man, I gotta look at it every day. Are you looking at it every day? How many people come and say, "Oh man, I had to put it down because I had to deal with this"? What one of the mentors used to tell us, this is the excuse people use. So we have no problem with using it because we don't use it over at the vault. But this is the excuse that people use. Life got in the way. No, it didn't. You got in the way. And until you get out of your way, you're not going to be a good trader. Oh man, I don't got good time management skill. That means you're not going to be a good trader. X yourself out. If you're not a good time manager, you're not going to be a good trader. It doesn't matter. Don't matter nothing else. Why? Because this is about risk management, and you got to manage your time. One of your greatest assets. Where do you invest your time? You don't want to go down rabbit holes. You could be sitting there looking at some information and not making a decision because you're looking at information. This requires you to be able to assimilate information rather quickly and make quality informed decisions. If you can say, oh man, I don't have good decision making skills, this is another environment. You're not going to make it. You got to have good decision making skills. Oh man, I'm young. I'm under 30, Trust Christian in the vault. I don't really have, you know, I'm under 30. I'm under 25. What I'm supposed to be? Well, it's some of the mentors like to tell you it's people that are really managing more money than most people, and they're under 25, and that's because they're working for these corporates. But nevertheless, they are managing computers and algorithms and stuff like that. But nevertheless, learning how to trade involves people. Uh, you know, you got to definitely have good professional skills and walk into it treating it as a business. You know, a lot of people say, "Oh man, I never owned a business before. I never built a public business before." Right? Then you're proud. If you never built a business, trading's gonna be a hard thing to do. Why? Because trading is a business. It's not a hobby. You know, this is a business. It's you taking on another business venture and saying, okay, I'm gonna grow this venture from zero to hero. That's the facts. If it's not looked at that way, how do you expect to produce zero to hero results? If you say, oh man, I put something in and I keep getting the same thing back every year, so I'm basically in and up flat. How does that mean it's a profitable or quality venture of your time and your effort? And no one's saying that. This is why it's imperative to learn it. That's the imperative to learn it. You learn it because if you don't learn it, you might end up back at zero every year or possibly in a negative. People don't think they can owe the broker money, or they might not even know they can owe the broker money. You can owe the broker money. That's why we do the margin calls, because the broker gonna call you and say, hey, guess what? The stock market, yeah, they not even gonna tell you that the stock market stopped. In 2020, they stopped the stock market because it was falling so fast. That's fair. But what happens when the broker doesn't acknowledge your stop loss and they try to get extra funds out of you? Oh man, I'm not a boss. I don't know how to negotiate. I don't know how to get to the president of the company so they don't try to rip me off of some money when I had a stop loss. And even though the stock market stopped, I had to have a stop loss in place. Right. But at the same time, they didn't acknowledge it. They want to go thousands of dollars above. Exactly. That's the way it works. Oh man, you got to call the brokers. You got to know these people. You think you're just gonna be trading. You know, no one tells you about the platforms, the retail trader platforms, as opposed to what's the other platforms they have out here? Just professional platforms. Oh man, I do gotta learn all that. You're right, right, and it's not going to just come in one book. So this is going to require where A, you really just need a mentor like trustee training at the vault. We have the trustee training. That's for the trustees. It's a private 1% thing. When you learn how to trade, you don't need anybody for money. So that's why it's important to go get you got to invest in your education first, because you could lose a lot of money just for ignorance. But if you just invest in your education, you're not losing any money. You're investing in your education. And that's a continuous thing. But learning to actually with a mentor is the most valuable thing for sure. You got to learn from a mentor. You got to learn from somebody that's actually living off of it right now, not people out here talking about it. There's somebody that's selling you a course that you can't get in contact with. Even with our trading partner Cornell, he's definitely doing actually live sessions right now with the people that are in this course. So it's cool. It's good to see that. At the same time, that's the way we always talk to him about it. Like, that's the way you learn. So it's best to teach. It's better to train people in that manner and learn, and people to learn from seeing a person that they see, that they talking to or bought their course or whatever. They see them doing their thing right then and there, and that's something that he saw, specifically for the day trading. Which, if you see that for the day trading, that's most likely what, if you see your mentor doing it, you're like, man, he making it look easy. After a while, yeah, you touch the stove, it's hot, and you burn your hand. But at the same time, you learn, okay, I'm not going to touch the stove when it's hot. That doesn't mean I can't touch the stove though. There's a difference. You just know, okay, this how long it take for the stove to cool off if it is hot at this temperature. These are the things that you start thinking about because you're getting analytical with the process. Okay, well, the mentor touches the stove, it looks like they putting their whole hand on everything, right? But they doing it when it's not hot. Oh, that's the biggest difference? Yeah. That means they're not trading opening bell. Oh, I'm going to go in there as soon as the stock market open and I'm going to get busy. Oh, I'm going to watch the stock market. I'm going to listen to somebody tell me wake up 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time so I could trade the London session. Yeah, right. You going to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. You think once you open up a brokerage account, they have a computer that's watching your moves. That's why the computer's so good, because they've been buying data, people's trading patterns and habits, humans, the retails, the brokerage has the technology to at least monitor your trades. They can say buy, sell, this time, this lot size, blah blah blah. So they can sell that. They sell those tips and tricks to the major funds. Major funds buy data. And this was an issue, but at the same time, it doesn't matter because it just shouldn't matter. It's just information, as they say. They're going to paint it as the information is it's just not something that can be considered. It's like, okay, it's arbitrary information. That's true, but at the same time, they're giving fairly accurate information about people's trading habits and patterns in their and not only can you see a lot about a person's trading habits, you can see about how a person thinks. How did they analyze the trade? Do they jump it? They got technology for sure that's analyzing, okay, this person usually trades at this time in the morning. So we're gonna put a bot that goes against this person's trading habits, whether they buying or selling at this time in the morning. And that's that. You think it costs money, that much money? That replaces a human. They got a trading bot that knows the algorithm of the time you get up, or excuse me, the time that you trade a particular style, and that's that. They have bots for it. Can you beat the bots? Can you beat these computers? Sure, you can. There are ways around it. But just remember, the stock market, you're taking somebody's money. You're not. No one's putting up anything. You're taking somebody else's. And just like when you lose yours, when you're winning, somebody else is losing theirs. It could be a retail trader. Institutions are who's the ones that the market is built off. They're the ones that almost set the price outside of the public to these corporate companies. They gave them their private equity. They gave them their private money. So that's a neither here nor there. But even still, you learn those things when you trade. Like, okay, now I know why these companies say that they're valued at what they're valued at, because I understand that who's really funding them to even allow them to do the marketing that they're doing. Okay. When you learn to trade, you can't be consumed with financial information on the news media. This is a fact. This isn't like uncommon knowledge. This is maybe hard for you to hear because we're going to say it so fast on this recording that you'll say, oh man, he said don't watch the news, so I don't know what to do. Well, if you go through Cornell the Trader's course, you'll get a better understanding. Of course, the information is private. Of course, you have to learn what are the things that you got to read privately so you can go out and make quality public decisions. That's what this is about now. Okay, I'm truly private. That's why we say the trading is private. It's 1% information because if everybody knew how to do it, they would do it. They don't because there's a lot of stuff in the public that will say this is what you need to do and blah blah. Everybody, there's 9 million courses out there. Everybody's got a course, right? Yep. And then everybody on the news is saying one thing and another, right? Right. And are all of them right? No. Some of them are winning. Some of them are losing. The pros, they stick around for years because they're pros. It's not a hobby. They're pros. They know how to go in and get money in a down market. They know how to get money in an up market. They learn to trade. Not to sit around and say, oh man, the market's going down. What are we going to do? No, they're analyzing opportunity. It's a continuous process. When do you stop trading? When you want to sell your portfolio or you're done trading for the rest of your life. Otherwise, why would you stop? It'll take away from the learning curve because trading is always going to be new information. This is a new market. We haven't fully seen a true bear in a while. This is a true bear. You damn near could say the country's been in a bear for a year since last November. The market has been in a bear. So and it's not hasn't been a complete bear, but the bear is here. It's on people. Maybe not on the consumer, but the Fortune 500 companies have made it very clear. Work from home was trash. Why? Because they just laid off 10% of their workforce. Major Fortune 50 companies, major 5 companies have laid off. Oh, we're going to lay off 10% of our workforce. Why? I thought you guys had $1 trillion. Huh? Thought you had $1 trillion. What happened when they work from home? We're laying off a workforce. For what? I thought you were a tech company. You're building a technology. You're not doing manual labor, right? So who are you laying off? Are you laying off your manual labor or are you laying off your brains? What are laying off? What? The office workers. Is it a layoff? Are they going to pick them back up? Is this going to be sector rotation? Am I going to go from one big 5 company to another big 5 company? Is that what the employees are saying? Hey, this other company's going to pay me more. How are they going to pay more when the companies are downsizing right now in the public markets? 2022 has been a year of downsize. Fortune 500s are downsizing. Why are they downsizing? Oh, work from home. We need more workers. Do you need more workers or is AI here? Do you need more workers or is the technology replacing people? So you want to learn trading. Once again, let's go back to the trading. They have bots. They have computers that are studying your trading habits. Yes, you can put together a systematic process that will allow you to select certain assets and be more than profitable. If you do not have one of these processes in place, it's inevitable that a bot will mimic almost every move you're making. It'll go in and take a position against you. Not only will it take a position against you, it will double against the position against you. So you have to end up seeing, wow, if it goes against me in a little bit, there's more money in pushing me down or pushing me wherever. I don't know how that works, Trust Christian Revolt. You'll find out if you do it. You'll find out. You'll see how fun it is when you have a bot studying your habits and you almost know it. And then when you know it, you're like, oh, wow. It seems like, man, I was profitable for a bit and all came to the worst. Exactly. We can tell you right now. Of course, there's a learningness to the trade. How do you get around that? You got to dedicate yourself to it every single day. You got to put in the time. You got to put in your free time. You got to make it a point to get the quality sources of information. This is definitely at the vault. We've have good mentors in education, so that helps. Uh, but if you don't have those things, if you're not around 1% environments, it's going to be rather challenging to learn it. You definitely want to learn from somebody that is. You want to learn from somebody that definitely is in the game and they know exactly what they're doing. 100%. If they don't know what they're doing, meaning that they're not doing it right then and there, and you know, you're gonna be out the creek without a paddle. So we appreciate everybody for tuning in live, listen, replay. Christian at trustchristian.com. If you want to go through the trading course with Cornell, Christian at trustchristian.com. Look forward to hearing from you. Peace and joy.